Welcome to the Direct Snap Dads podcast, where we cover the best in football. And now your hosts, Tyson and Luke Randall.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Direct Snap Dads podcast. My name's Luke Randall, and I am joined today by my brother Tyson. Tyson, how are you doing?
I am doing great, Luke. It's great to be here on the Direct Snap Dads podcast.
Boom! We had quite a weekend.
That's right. Yeah, we had some great games in the divisional round this week. I've got to say, I don't know if they were as exciting as last year's, but I still think they were pretty exciting this year.
Yeah, and I do think a good point was made on one of the podcasts that I listened to. They said, yes, Wild Card Week was fun. The divisional round was pretty predictable, kind of boring, but that should make for a great championship weekend.
Yeah, with what's happened in the games, it's pretty awesome. The 1 and 2 seed of both conferences are playing, so it's back to that anyone's game type thing. And either team, whoever steps up is, they're going to be making the Super Bowl, because these are 4 great teams that are left.
I could not have predicted all the top seeds making it this year. I thought for sure there was going to be an upset this weekend.
Yeah, I wasn't too surprised. Minus, I thought there would be at least one upset, but there wasn't. All the top home teams took home the winnings at the end of each of these games. So yeah.
I am so tired of seeing the Patriots in the AFC Championship game. This is their 8th consecutive AFC Championship game, 13th in the Belichick-Brady era, and it is getting old. Sorry, Patriots fans, but you can keep sitting on your thrones over there because it's been too long. But here you are again, somehow weaseling your way into the AFC Championship. I thought for sure they were not looking as good this year. I thought it was the start of the demise, and 41-year-old Brady and Belichick have brought them through again.
Patriots fans are so funny. Like, they act as if they did something. Mm-hmm. They act as though they won the games. They didn't. It's all Belichick, all Brady. It's funny.
They love to take credit for it.
Yeah, it's funny to me. But
so that was the first game of the weekend. The Chargers came in feeling confident against the Patriots, but they just kind of lost their mojo. By halftime, it was 35-7. And it was pretty much over at that point. 41-28 for the Patriots. The Chargers had a good run this year. Phillip Rivers is 0-8 against Tom Brady in his career, and that streak continued here on Saturday. A disappointing game for Los Angeles. Great effort by the Patriots. They definitely planned well for him, and Belichick made it happen again. So props to the Patriots, and as much as I personally hate to say it, here they are again. So
yeah, one player who kind of stood out to me, like Brady obviously kind of ruled that game with how he played, but Sonny Michel, the running back for the Patriots, 24 carries, 129 yards, 3 touchdowns. The Patriots are so systematic the way they attacked the Chargers in that game. Like, it seemed like every possession was just march down the field, running in to score. It was just kind of crazy.
Yeah, and I thought that the Chargers were going to give them a run for their money. It was 7-0, and then Keenan Allen caught that long pass, making it 7-7. They were in it in the very beginning, but it was over once they hit 14-7, 21-7, 28-7, 35-7. It was ugly for Chargers fans, and a disappointing end to an otherwise great season.
I wasn't too surprised, though. I mean, the Patriots, they haven't lost at home all year, so I just didn't think the Chargers would lose that bad. They scored like 2 garbage time touchdowns, so like as close as it looked, like 12 points down.
It's an ugly ending, and Chargers fans, we are accustomed to this disappointment. We're hoping for better days in the future, but Tyson, let's take it over for a minute over to the Colts, who came into Arrowhead this weekend. Now, I thought the Colts were going to come in and upset them. I just did not have a good feeling about the Chiefs heading into this game. I was completely wrong. Mahomes was looking great. Andy Reid schemed very well against the Colts, and I don't know what happened to Andrew Luck and company. What were your thoughts on that? Because coming into this, we were talking about how great Luck's been and how he's been on a hot streak. What happened in this
I
game?
I think it was the defense. The Colts defense was, they were coming in riding high. They shut down the Texans, which made way for Andrew Luck to really get out and play well. The defense didn't even give him a chance, and the Colts had a few bad luck things go their way, early in the game, but I just don't think that defense came because the Chiefs jumped right out 17-0, before the Colts even had a chance, and the offense didn't even score. It was the special teams that got that first score for the Colts. So, the offense and defense weren't really doing anything. But I think that the fact that the defense wasn't, doing much, it was keeping the offense on the field where the Chiefs offense on the field, to where they were kept scoring points and stuff. So that was what I thought. The Colts defense just didn't show up the way they did. The Chiefs ended up having like 433 total yards of offense. One of the best plays, I think, was that Tyreek Hill 36-yard touchdown catch. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh,
Um,
I didn't. I didn't catch that.
yeah, he like caught it over the shoulder and got right down there and scored the touchdown. I think that put it up like 24-7. Like the Chiefs just owned them on offense. So
Which
that
is
Colts.
unusual for the playoffs with the Chiefs. I was surprised that the Chiefs stuck to their guns and made this happen. I guess I just had a lack of faith in that team when it came to the postseason, but they really made it happen today, and the Colts didn't stand a chance.
Yeah, and it's just that history there, at Arrowhead. I think I read they were like 0-6 in the past like 20, 30 years at Arrowhead in the playoffs.
Wow.
So like it's been a long, long time since they've won a playoff game at Arrowhead. So that
Hopefully that'll give them some momentum heading in as they take on the Patriots, because I'm nervous seeing Belichick and them come into town, because they have owned not only the Chargers, but they've owned the Chiefs in the playoffs as well as most of the regular season, with the exception of the first game last year.
right, yeah. And the with the Patriots coming in, the Chiefs are going to really need to protect Mahomes. They had a little scare there where he hurt his knee for a little bit, had to go out for a second, but then he was able to come back in. That was probably gave Chiefs fans a heart attack seeing Mahomes go out clutching his knee like that. So
Hmm.
they're really going to have to protect him because he's the X factor for them.
Now, is the Colts defense still pretty young? Is that a young defense? Have you looked at that roster?
Yeah, they've got a pretty young deep. That whole team's pretty young. They've got a lot of good things to look forward to. They've got a pretty young team. They're up and coming. No one expected them to even get anywhere this year. They started 1-5. I wouldn't feel too bad if I was a Colts fan losing this game because they made it a lot farther than anyone expected. And then you know, you shouldn't feel too bad if you lose to the number one offense in football. So
That's true. And I felt there was a correlation in the AFC games between the defenses. The Chargers defense is also very young. Colts defense, very young. So these young defenses have time to grow. Nonetheless, a disappointing end to the Colts and Chargers season. Did you have any other notes, things that you noticed here on the AF site? AF site? AF site? AF site? Did you have any other notes or anything that you noticed here on the AFC side of things?
well, one thing I just wanted to say about the Chiefs and Colts is that the way that it was there, the weather, that's football weather. That was pretty awesome.
Hmm.
Uh, they had to come in and remove some of the snow from the stands before the game, but just the way it looked to me was that was football weather. Not too much snow on the field, but it was cold and icy. That's January football. I thought that was pretty fun.
Now, take us through the NFC side of things. What were your observations here? Take us through the Cowboys and Rams first.
Yeah, so let's start with the Cowboys and Rams. The Rams ended up winning 30 to 22, And it wasn't even really as close as it looked. I mean, the Cowboys made a push in the second half, but the Rams went into halftime. It was like 20-7. The Rams kind of owned them up and down, especially in the running game. Between C.J. Anderson and Todd Gurley, they had over 200 yards combined and 3 touchdowns. That Dallas defense, I don't know what happened to them because they shut down the Seahawks running game so well in that wild card game, and then this game the Rams just blew them up in the running game. It wasn't even the passing game. The Cowboys have the line, they've got the linebackers, they've got a good secondary too, but usually teams can beat them in the passing game. The Rams destroyed them in the running game. C.J. Anderson was kind of my standout player. He's he's funny. He calls himself a fat kid running because he's a big guy. I think he played for the Broncos a few years ago, but he's kind of gone downhill a little bit. But he had 23 carries, 123 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he just kind of sealed the game in the end there with that last touchdown. And Todd Gurley ran the ball as well. That was one of my favorite plays from the game. Was Todd Gurley had it was about a 35-yard run where it looked like they kind of tossed it out to C.J. Anderson and everyone was chasing him, but Gurley actually ran it up the middle. It was kind of a fake that they ran, and he just ran it all the way in. It was just one of those plays where you're like, man, they're just killing him in the running game. And on the flip side of that too, that's kind of how the Rams defense won the game too. Ezekiel Elliott wasn't even a factor in this game. He got like 47 total yards rushing.
Wow.
And he was the big player for the Cowboys in the Seahawks game. He put up a ton of yards, but the Rams defense shut him down, so the Cowboys didn't really even have a chance.
That's a funny thing I see with analysts in the NFL. I was listening to several analysts as these games were coming up, and I just remember one of them predicted all 4 road teams winning this weekend, and all 4 home teams won, and I just got a kick out of that. I remember them saying, I will take Zeke over Gurley any day. He is more reliable. He's going to pound that Rams defense, and he's going to take it to the house several times. 28-21 Cowboys.
No, yeah.
It just never happens. And yeah, it's unpredictable, but I've noticed a pattern in the NFL that week by week, if a player has a great week, there's a good chance that the team preparing for them after is going to look at that film and they're going to shut them down the following week. I feel like the Rams took that bye week. Sean McVay and company really analyzed that, and they put the clamp down on Zeke and company. So,
oh yeah, they totally did. Dak had a decent game, but they kind of shut him down too. And it's funny that you mentioned the 4 home teams won. One home team actually lost.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah.
I'm totally kidding. That LA stadium was packed with Cowboys fans.
Yeah, for a minute I was like, wait a minute. Oh yeah, no, LA is totally full of Cowboys fans this weekend.
It was totally funny. Like that all the stands were just Cowboys fans, and they all went home empty-handed.
Oh, that's funny. They all just had an empty, soulless trip to Los Angeles.
Yeah. So moving on to the Saints and Eagles game. The Saints ended up winning 20-14, put an end to Nick Foles' magic, Drew Brees and company. That trio on the Saints, Brees, Kamara, and Michael Thomas are, they're going to be what decides the fate of this team. If those 3 play well, I don't think any defense can really shut them down, especially because like we've seen the Eagles defense. I feel like they were the best defense playing this weekend, and the Saints ended up winning. I do got to say though that the Eagles kind of came out to dominate. I was surprised. They started out 14-0 in the first quarter. They got an interception on the opening drive, and everyone was kind of thinking, oh, the Eagles are going to do it again. But you got to give credit to that Saints defense. After that first quarter, the Saints defense showed up and kind of put the clamp down on that Eagles offense. They didn't score any more points the rest of the game, and then I can't remember what the number was, but their total yardage was less for the rest of the game. Besides that first quarter, so they got most of their yardage in the first quarter.
Oh, wow.
So the Saints defense really stepped up kind of after the Eagles went out and kind of knocked them around a little bit. So props to them. I think that's kind of what we talked about in the last podcast too, was the Saints defense going to show up, and they really did.
That was the factor that turned the game. And the Eagles, I definitely thought we might be heading to see a rematch of the Super Bowl last year, but that's not going to happen now. So congrats to the Saints. I was just watching a documentary called The Timeline that NFL Films does about the 2006 Saints and that blocked punt against the Falcons and all the things leading up to that. The Saints have a rough but a pretty cool history too. And I wish them the best, although I'm not really a Saints fan. They're kind of a middle of the pack team for me.
Yeah, one of the big plays that mattered in this game, and you kind of feel for him, Alshon Jeffries, that last play where the ball went right through his hands and the Saints intercepted it and kind of ended their comeback there right at the end.
That was kind of a break for the Saints, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a break for the Saints and a heartbreaker for the Eagles.
Oh, yeah.
And that was like the main meme I saw online today was a picture of Alshon Jeffries, and it says, "What was that? I didn't quite catch that." Can you repeat that? I didn't quite catch that. Feel bad for him. He's positive, being positive about it though. I think, like he was saying, one missed catch doesn't define who he is as a player. So
yeah, that's a good attitude and one that you have to have as an NFL player. You got to protect that self-esteem and that ego. You kind of have to have that warrior mentality. And I was going to give a disclaimer beforehand that I actually did not get to watch any of these games this weekend. But I decided to tell it after we talked about it. You can kind of tell from my commentary that I was like, oh yeah, I checked the score at church and I checked the score again when I got home, and here we were. But I didn't even get to watch the highlights. It's been a busy week for me. Here we are talking about the AFC and NFC championship games. Tyson, what are your initial thoughts? Take us through the Patriots heading into Arrowhead.
My first thought on this, the Chiefs need to fear the wrath of Brady. Like they really
need
do.
To take him seriously.
Oh man, I don't know if you heard Brady's post-game comments, but he's like, yeah, everyone thinks we're terrible. Everyone thinks we're going to lose, and we're not. Like he was just, he's the GOAT. He can say whatever he wants. And when Tom Brady's mad, the Patriots win. They're still the Patriots. They're still, one of the best teams in the league. So, and where Brady's got the experience on Mahomes, Mahomes makes a lot of mistakes. He made a lot of mistakes earlier when they played the Patriots earlier in the season. So I think Brady's coming for it, and the Chiefs got to be on their A game to really stop the Patriots in this game.
Are you? Do you have a team that you're picking out of these two?
I do. I think the Patriots are going to win. I really do. I think the Patriots are mad. I think the Chiefs are running high from their win. It's not going to last. Once the Patriots come to town. That's my thought anyway. But, it could go either way. The Chiefs played really well. I think they did make more mistakes than the Patriots did, and they did play. I don't know. I think the Chargers could have beaten that Colts team too. I think the Colts might have been the
sixth seed. No, just kidding.
Right. Yeah. They totally. So I think the Chiefs had the easier game. Even though the Patriots made it look easy, I think the Chargers were the better team there. So I really think the Chiefs are going to have to outplay the Patriots up and down the field the whole game if they even want to have a chance to get to the Super Bowl.
I do want to defend. I just want to take a moment to defend the Chargers. I know they had a disappointing end, but man, were they banged up towards the end of that. They had the roughest path to the Super Bowl if they were going to make it. You go through the Ravens, then the Patriots, then the Chiefs. That would have been a rough road to get, and then play either the Rams or Saints in this. That would have been really rough on Melvin Gordon, who's already injured. And anyways, I'll get off the Chargers now. I am actually going to be picking the Patriots as well, but for different reasons. The reason I'm picking the Patriots is because I was 1-3 last week and I am on a losing streak. So if I pick the Patriots, then the Chiefs will win this weekend. So it's some reverse psychology like you were doing with the Chargers, which worked for you, by the way. No, it didn't work. Oh, sorry. I don't know why I said that. I'm really tired. Anyways, if I pick the Patriots, they're going to lose. And I'm hoping that that works. So I'm going with the Patriots as well, even though I'm afraid I might actually be right. But this is one that I'll be kind of bummed out if I'm right.
Yeah, well, the world does revolve around you, so pick the Patriots.
Yep, that's exactly right. So I'm gonna do the world revolving around me, and hopefully that'll work. So
Yeah.
on the other side, we've got the Rams heading into New Orleans, a very, very difficult place to play. However, the Rams do have the weapons to do it. It might be a coin flip. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this?
I really think it is a coin flip. I think the Rams, after last week, they may be the better team. I think the Saints had the harder game. I think those Eagles, didn't just play a physical game; it was a mental game. Because everyone knows Nick Foles' magic. So I think the Saints had the harder game, but the Rams surprised me, and I think they could surprise me again. Especially with that running game, if they can figure out that Saints defense and do the same thing that they did to the Cowboys, the Rams have a pretty good chance. They did play earlier in the season. I don't know if you remember that week 9. The Rams lost to the Saints in New Orleans, 45-35. It was a shootout. Breeze and Jared Goff threw like 7 combined touchdowns. It was it could go that way as well, where it comes down to the quarterbacks dueling it out. But in this game, I'm going to pick the Saints. I think the home field advantage, I think that they've got that going for them. Saints defense is playing well right now, and they're going to shut down, either that passing game or that running game. But I could be wrong, but that's my thought.
I have a friend that says if the Saints go to the Super Bowl, they're going to start trying to have a baby. So we'll see. Welcome to the world of babies if that's the case. So I'm going to pick the Saints just so I can have another friend join the world of parenthood, find out what it's really about when that little baby hits you in the face and you're waking up every 2 hours. This one's for you guys. No, just kidding. No, I wish you the best. I do think the Saints will win the game, but I think it'll be close. Again, I could be wrong because I do feel it's a coin flip, but yeah, I'm picking the Saints.
So apparently the world revolves around your friend for this game now.
Yeah. Yep. The AFC revolves around me. The NFC's around my friend.
Well, I hope the Saints win, and we need more good dads like you out there. So I hope the Saints go for your friend's sake too.
And the only team that I even care about winning the Super Bowl here is the Chiefs. I want to see the Chiefs do it out of these 4 teams. Everyone else has been there.
Out of all 3 of these matchups, I think the one that is most interesting to me, or I guess I don't know if interesting is the word, but the one that seems the weirdest is Saints versus Chiefs.
Oh yeah. That is
because weird. The Rams and Patriots, that's like a classic. That was Brady's first Super Bowl win, was against the Rams.
Yeah.
And then Rams and Chiefs, they had that amazing game this year. That would be a good one. And then Saints Patriots has kind of been in my mind this whole time, Breeze versus Brady. But the Saints and Chiefs, I haven't really talked about those 2 teams meeting up. I think that would be a really interesting matchup, and probably the ugliest uniform matchup
in Super Bowl history.
Yeah.
Well, maybe. I mean, you put the Bengals against anyone, and then you have a troubling uniform matchup. But
last year the Bengals played the Chiefs, and it seems like I don't think they both wore color rush, but someone was like bright orange and the other one was bright red and yellow, and it was just so glaring. It was hideous.
Oh man, what is that?
Oh man.
And the Saints and Chiefs is kind of a weird one. I don't know. I mean, I can kind of see it. It seems like on those big blocks and king size hits and that Festival of Funnies, is that what it was called? Our first videotape. NFL films. Yeah, Festival of Follies. It seems like there was a Chiefs and Saints game that was played in a really rainy kind of atmosphere or something.
Oh yeah, I remember
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I remember that. And the
Yeah.
ball, it was like in slow motion. The ball is bouncing
Uh-huh.
around
There's
with
like
the
ballet
rain
music.
splashing.
Whatever happened to that tape? I want to watch that again.
I know. I've been thinking about that one too. That's like the one I don't know where it is.
Yeah, it disappeared. So if anyone out there has a Festival of Follies NFL films, let us know. I'm gonna have to look it up after this podcast.
Yeah. So, well,
What's the
naturally
next?
from,
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, so naturally from our picks, it seems like we're both picking Patriots Saints to be the Super Bowl matchup. Uh,
Unfortunately for me, I wasn't that excited about that, but it'll be a good game.
yeah, we'll see how it goes though. It could be the complete opposite, Rams and Chiefs, which would I could totally go for that. I don't want to see the Patriots in the Super Bowl. So,
Yeah,
uh,
if we can prevent that from happening, we'll be happy campers. But here we go.
yeah,
That's our predictions. I think we're both going to say Patriots and Saints then is the most likely scenario, albeit not my favorite. But I know you would be interested in that one. You were mentioning how you want to see Breeze versus Brady.
yeah, it would just be one of those games, like classic quarterback duel that, the old Manning versus Brady rivalry that we got so tired of. This would be another one of those great quarterback matchups. I don't know. That's what interests me about it. But
Yeah.
so each week we feature a football card on our show, and Luke and I grew up loving to collect football cards. Like we love to collect football cards. We'd get them for Christmas. The Easter Bunny would bring them, and yeah, so we would play with them. We'd line them up and kind of play uh, games with them sometimes too. So anyway, that's why we feature football cards on our shows, because we still have some of our old cards from when we were kids, and we like to talk about them a little bit. So this week is Luke's week. Luke brought a football card for us. So Luke, what do you got for us?
Card I've got this week is very beat up, very used, very respected, and one of the first cards I ever had. The card this week is Steve Everett from the Cleveland Browns. I used to be so scared of this guy when I was a kid because he's got his teeth gnarled and the long hair and blood on his uniform. You remember this card?
That card is so classic. It's making me laugh. Like he's got like spikes coming out of his pads almost. It seems like
Yeah.
he's just the scariest guy
He
I've
looks
ever
he looks like a
seen.
bulldog in a cage or something. It's really funny. It's trench talk. Anchors Cleveland's line with his sturdy run blocking skills, intelligence, and aggressiveness. Powerful and relentless. And then they give him ratings on the back. If you see, there's like Browns fans, and they are holding up little signs that say 8.7 on his run blocking, 9.3 on his pass blocking, and stuff like that. This is a classic card. I loved it. It's very bent, very used. I used to look at this and be like, what a mean looking guy. I was kind of scared of him when I was a kid, but that's the card for this week. It's kind of a classic.
Nice, nice. And we'll put that up on the YouTube video so you guys can see how scary Steve Everett is.
Yes, that'll be up on YouTube. So check this out. It'll be somewhere in the late 20s, early 30-minute mark. So.
Yeah.
So week by week, we like to play this little game where each of us thinks of a number between 1 and 99, and we present it to the other person. And for example, I give Tyson a number, and then he thinks of the first NFL player that comes to mind when he hears or sees that number anywhere. So without further ado, I will. Who's going first this week? I don't even know who went first last week.
I think you gave me a number first last week, so
Okay.
I'll do the number first.
So it's my turn. Tyson, what do you got for me?
All right, the number I've got for you today, Luke, is 76.
76. Holy cow. For some reason, there's like a Steelers guy coming to mind that's number 76. But who is the guy that used to do that dance where he'd like weave his legs in and out like on a Festival of Funnies or Festival of Follies or whatever it was? He might have been number 77. I can't remember his name, but there's a Steelers guy coming to mind. 76 is a tough number. I'm trying to think.
Yeah,
The
that is a
classic
tough
76.
number.
Of course, I think of Sean Bradley in the NBA. But
You might be thinking of Mean Joe Green. He was 75, I think.
that's not Mean Joe I was thinking of. I'm trying to think. Oh, I was thinking of 78 of the Steel Curtain. What was his name?
White was his last name. Was
Yeah,
it?
he was the one that always did that silly dance.
Oh
Like,
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
yeah, I don't know what it was. That's who I thought. 76. Let's see. That's a tough one. That is a tough one. It's definitely reserved for linemen, offensive or defensive, more so in the olden days. But
The first person I thought of was Orlando Pace
he
from
was
the Rams.
76. I thought he was 74.
I think he was 75 when he played at Ohio
Oh,
State,
he
but he
is
wore
76 on the Rams.
he wore
Yep.
76
Wow.
on the Rams.
I got to use Google for this. I'm trying to think of a definitive 76. Yeah, it would have been Pace, but I guess I just forgot that Pace was 76 when he got to the NFL. Let's see,
Yeah,
NFL.
that's a hard number though. He's like the
That's
only
hard.
one.
That's like 45 from a
I
couple of
know.
weeks ago. Man, I think I'm gonna have to go with Orlando Pace then. I just can't see anyone else that stands out to me. Wow, my brain's got a complete blank on 76. I can't think of anyone other than Orlando Pace. That'll be mine. You got me this week. You 45'd me this week.
Yeah. Well, it happens. And a disclaimer to everyone listening: sometimes we say these numbers and we just draw a blank, and there really are numbers out there that no one really wears. Like no
Yeah,
famous people, at least, or people that we grew up watching or anything. So
very, very true. Well, you're gonna have the complete opposite of 76 this week because I've got a number that there's a definitive NFL player that wears it, but I'm curious to see if there's anyone else who comes to your mind. Your number this week is 22.
22, Emmett Smith.
Yep. That's
That-
that's the given for sure.
Yeah, he immediately popped into my head. So, is that who you had as well?
Yep. Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, there's been 22s besides him, but no one even close. I think there was a Tyrone Drakeford or something on the 49ers back in 1994 who was number 22. But yeah,
Yeah.
besides here and there, it seems like there was a Denver Broncos fullback or running back or something that was number 22 when they went to the Super Bowl or something.
Whoa, wasn't that CJ Anderson? The guy who played well this week? Was he
Yeah,
20?
yeah. Oh, CJ Anderson's from this year. I was thinking they had someone on their 97 team, but I could be mistaken.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I'm sure they probably did.
Oh, here he is. Von Hebron.
Okay. Yeah.
That's a deep track.
Yeah.
But
A
yeah,
deep
so
cut.
I thought of Drakeford and definitely Emmett Smith. Emmett Smith is the definitive 22. I don't think there's a better one than the
Oh,
Emmett. So
yeah, for sure. A couple others I'm seeing on here. Reggie Bush wore 22 for the Dolphins. Matt Forte
Ah,
wore 22 for the Bears. So yeah, definitely a definitive person on that one.
yeah, you got a good number this week, and then I got a bad one, 76. Like, what do you do with that?
Right, yeah. Oh man. So there's a couple ways our listeners can get in touch with us. We've got an email address, directsnappodcast@gmail.com. Send us an email. I never check it.
I do
Just
sometimes.
kidding.
Every time I
I
log into Gmail, it shows up automatically for me.
okay, yeah. I check it sometimes, but I haven't checked it at all this week.
We
So
haven't gotten anything yet.
okay, yeah. Come on, people, email us.
Maybe one day, if you're
Yeah,
listening, Mom.
yeah.
No, just-
Right. Mom, Dad, Alyssa.
and our Twitter handle, the one with the two S's, was that?
at at Dad Snap. So you can reach us on Twitter. You can message us or tweet to us at Dad Snap. We would love to hear from you.
Yeah, be sure to reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you, and we will definitely be back next week with a preview of Super Bowl Sunday.
Yes, and maybe we might even talk about the Pro Bowl if it's lucky enough for a
Ooh,
mention.
yeah. Nonetheless, listeners, thank you for joining us this week. My name's Luke. I'm here with my brother Tyson, and we hope you guys have a wonderful week.
Thanks for joining us, folks.
We'll see ya.